Hey, welcome back to the show. It's me, Hugh, and Sandra's here today. It's so good to have her back as co-host.
Like old times.
Like old times.
Yeah.
And now we're going to continue because we have a fabulous guest. Jasna Krunic is here. And
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
Great to meet you and great to
My
really looking
pleasure.
forward to this conversation. We're going to talk about Tesla Metamorphosis.
Yes.
And boy, this Tesla guy, he's getting around these days. Everybody seems to be talking about
He is,
Tesla.
and it's about time, really, because he was a great inventor, physicist, humanist, highly spiritual person, and he was very mindful of human health. However, with all the knowledge and inventions and discoveries that he made, he really changed our life for better. And he's even known as a man who lit the world because of the electricity that he discovered and the lighting fluorescent bulbs. And he was the one who discovered us neon lights. And pretty much he is considered to be the man who created the future.
No, yeah, but they quashed his career. They stole all his inventions,
Yes.
and he died in poverty
Penniless.
and obscurity.
Exactly, that's what happened, because he, as I said, was a great humanist. And everything that he did, and I want to quote him actually, how he said it, that the desire that guides me in all I do is the desire to harness the forces of nature to the service of the mankind. And that's exactly what he was doing. So other than bringing us the radio, the remote control, the AC induction motor, which really is the base of everything that our modern society uses to survive and live, and from the household appliances to machinery, water compressor, electrical watch, like everything that we really use in the modern world, we have to say thank you, Tesla. Not to mention the lasers that transform the medical, the surgery applications, x-rays that are still in use in medical diagnostics.
And of course, they also use lasers to attach to the heads of sharks sometimes.
Yes, they do that too. I'm not sure whether he would approve it though, but he invented it. Now, use of it is something else. So, you mentioned he died penniless, and that's true.
Yeah.
He dared to go a little bit too far for the time and for the elite in power at that time, because he really invented the wireless transmission of information, and JP Morgan actually financed that project. And that was great and nice. But then he dared to challenge the free transmission of unlimited energy for everybody to use for the mankind. And that really, really didn't sit well with the corporate appetites. And at that time when he did that, he was completely dishonored. His laboratory was burned down. His work was stopped. And a lot of his patents sort of disappeared until actually today's date.
Right. I'm going to just tell you a little story. You know, did you get the elevator ride up when you came?
No, I actually did my fitness.
Oh, you did?
Oh,
Took the
yes.
stairs.
Well,
I
let me
did. I don't mind.
Let me recommend taking the elevator down. Just because this elevator in this building has an original Tesla motor,
Oh.
DC motor powering it.
Oh, it will be my great pleasure to come down in the elevator that has original Tesla's motor. Really, I would be honored to do that. Thank you. Thank you.
In fact, they were going to take, the city came and said to the building, you have to take that elevator out and replace it with a modern elevator, right? But somehow they found a loophole, because apparently that Tesla, it's a DC motor, I think. It's apparently, because it's a DC motor, which is unlike any modern motor, it's so much more energy efficient. And so the city can't, now we can justify keeping it because
Yep.
it's actually saves energy.
Yes.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
No, so we've talked about Tesla and what you've described, and most of us are aware that Tesla was responsible. The work he did was like electricity, like physical, mechanical, electrical stuff.
Yes.
But what is Tesla Metamorphosis? Because it sounds to me like it's more like an energetic, which is different, kind of healing. So can you talk about?
Yes.
And I know. Listen, I'm just going to say we have the book. Anya Petrovich is going to be coming here.
Yes.
And she's going to be sitting at where you're sitting now and give us the real scoop because it's her work essentially.
Yes.
But can you give us just a little bit of idea of how the Tesla relates to what Tesla Metamorphosis is?
Absolutely. So Tesla was very knowledgeable about the forces of the nature around him, and even though he called them differently comparing to the terminology we use today, it is still something that is even contemporary science still trying to figure out fully and completely. So he was highly spiritual person, and he was working with the as he called it, ether, or today we call it a field or zero field. Then he worked with light, which from his perspective and in reality is really just the visual manifestation of the energy. And he realized that light not only has physical particles in it, but the consciousness itself. And then he also determined that every change in the vibration of the frequency will change the consciousness of the human beings, of the light. So he started being interested in the light that basically he realized was him. And he started playing with the light. And he started actually developing deeper knowledge about our nature, our true nature, by working with Veda, Hindu at that time, Swami Vivekananda, and he was very impressed with his work. And so both were impressed with each other, and Swami actually considered Tesla to be the highest spiritual person in existence because he witnessed him manifesting the light in front of him like a big ball of light, and he was able even to radiate light from his body. And then he would talk to the light, being aware that that light has a consciousness, and it is consciousness. So based on those discoveries and facts, Tesla started working with the specific frequencies that are not Hertzian, as the physics at that time was using as a primary and the only type of frequencies. But at that time, he just called it ether, he called it energy. So by working with those waves, he determined that they have a specific characteristics that actually affect our health in a most positive way. And the way he healed himself was always with light. He was self-healer. He knew how to work with the light to be perfectly healthy all the time. He would even radiate on the stage in the New York City and just glow. However, wasn't ready to reveal to the journalist and to the science at that time how did he do it, what kind of science he applied, but it was science. So that brings us now to the answer to your question. How is he involved in all of that? He's involved in a way that, thanks to him, we now have access to the certain specific energies and frequencies that not only can help heal us, but contribute to the rising of the human consciousness overall. So it is like a multi-beneficial discovery, particularly in today's date when the humanity is rising in awareness, in consciousness. And we just listened to your guest before me, and yeah, there are certain and quite often valid concerns about the future of our planet, about future of our race actually, and the way to make sure that we are going to survive is for us to transform, to be closer to who we really are. This is the carrier, we all have a carrier that we use in this time, and this is the form. However, we are much more than that, and that's what Tesla discovered. And the work that Anya did to put his ideas into action and to make it closer to the population is just amazing.
Can you tell us what your experience was, or what the benefits that
Yes, I
you
will.
experienced?
Oh, yes,
was?
yes, I will. So it was, some people would call it coincidence. I really call it synchronicity. There are no coincidences. That at the time, which was something like 7 years ago or so, I just graduated from my biofeedback quantum academy and got my certification as a specialist in biofeedback. And then I learned about Tesla Metamorphosis. I went on the website, I checked it out, I got impressed. And Anya was in Vancouver at that time, so I grew up with a few friends. It was just 4 of us actually, quite interested to figure out what's that, because we already were sort of in energetic work. Not all of us, I was, a few of them as well. So we invited actually Anya to stop by in Toronto on her way back to Europe, which she did. And we made her give us a seminar, which she did.
I love that. And we made her give us a
Yes, we did. She recognized, I guess, the passion that we
Yes.
had, an interest that
Yes.
we had in the modality and the knowledge we got from reading. And a few of us were originally from Serbia, which is the home of Nikola Tesla. He's a Serbian. So we were always sort of interested in his work, particularly that a lot of it disappeared after his death. And so she came, and the first weekend of seminar, that was by like 2 days of a class and training. And I was supposed to go after the class and meet my group of friends to go for a fitness exercise. And we met in the park in front of the building, and there was a group of like 4 or 5 of us. And one lady all of a sudden started having a terrible pain ache, and she started crying out loud. She couldn't even stand up tall. And everybody started to organize, how are we going to take her to the emergency? Are we going to call for the ambulance, whatever? And then I just said, well, can I maybe try to help you? Would you mind that? She said, okay, I have no option. So I put her on the bench, and even though she really couldn't lay straight, which is required during the treatment, she was laying in fetus position. That was the only comfortable position for her in such a pain. And I started to do Tesla healing session.
You did?
Yes.
Okay.
with one seminar.
That was the weekend, and
Okay.
I already knew what I was doing.
Okay.
And I started to do the session there in the park. She was laying on the bench and with her closed eyes. While I was doing it, I realized within 3 minutes she spread her legs straight, then she spread her arms, then she lay completely comfortable. It was 7 minutes. Somebody was actually timing. That's how I know. Within 7 minutes, she opened her eyes. She looked at me. She gave me a big smile, and she just says, "What did you just did?"
Yeah.
I said, I did nothing. It really wasn't me. I just helped. For you to get a help, it wasn't me. It really wasn't me.
Wow.
So you
Okay.
facilitated.
Though I was facilitating actually Tesla waves and Tesla Metamorphosis
Wow.
healing
So
waves.
this is what people can learn.
This is what really made me continue on this path.
Yeah.
No kidding.
And I said, this is really something, and I continued, and I graduated. I was so happy, and I started practicing, and among the other things, I'm doing the Tesla Metamorphosis as well as a part of my practice, and I'm so happy and thrilled, and actually I feel privileged.
So yeah, Jasna.
Jasna.
So it is just to explain. It's non-invasive. It's no touch.
It is totally non-invasive, no touch, and this is only one part of it. The second part of it is really working with overall raising of a human consciousness. And that is, I think, what real true metamorphosis is.
Absolutely.
Because as a species, we are now at the break of necessary change. The planet is changing, the galactic changes in terms of frequencies and the way how eclipse, how the Earth rotates on the eclipse is just all coming together to make us aware it's a time for change. We are much more than what we look to be. We are the light and we are the love, and we have capacity to change things to better for the well-being of humanity. And that was actually the goal of Nikola Tesla. That's what he was trying to do his whole life, and I feel really privileged to carry on at least this little spark that he left us.
So, what is it good for? So, for example, like what problems might people be having that Tesla Metamorphosis can actually really help them with?
Okay, let's say any health issue that you have,
Yeah.
anything that are putting you in out of balance and putting you in a whack.
Like even what about like even like real serious stuff like cancer and
Okay,
stuff like that?
in Anya's experience, she was able to help people even with the structural changes. People were born with, let's say, a hump on the back, disappearing.
Wow.
She was having, but those were her experiences with the most difficult and most challenging health issues that were able to be corrected actually with these forces.
Okay. Where can people go to find out more about?
Okay, more about it and everything about this, actually they can find on the website teslametamorphosis.com. There information on my website also about this. There is a link that could guide them.
Okay.
And my website is mylifeforce.ca.
What is it?
Mylifeforce.ca.
Oh. Okay. All right.
So on that website there is also a link to Tesla Metamorphosis.
Yeah.
So people can actually go and check it out. Check it out what Tesla Metamorphosis can do for you on www.teslametamorphosis.com or on mylifeforce.ca, and then just go for the link, Tesla Metamorphosis.
Fantastic.
I'm assuming this is a very big part of your practice.
It is. It's a big part of my practice. I started my practice with doing the biofeedback, which is actually quantum technology. It is the most advanced scientific way of dealing with the human energy, working on the energetic level. And this is now a medical device in the States. Here in Canada, not yet. In the States, it's official medical device, quantum biofeedback. So here I'm still working within the alternative arena for the purpose of political correctness,
But it still
and
works.
my own safety.
Yeah.
But then I also do Reiki, and then being at that time already very aware of the energetic work and about the non-physical forces. When I heard about Tesla, I just wanted to investigate further because I knew about Tesla and I knew what kind of a genius he was, and I just decided to go for it. Ever since, that's being my, I would say, probably most favorite modality.
I know we're going to go soon. I just have a quick question. I'm so glad you brought up Reiki, because I was actually going to ask you, when we talked about it being non-invasive, I was going to ask you if you knew anything about Reiki, and if so, because I'm familiar, and I think a lot of people are familiar with Reiki, but not so many people are familiar with the Tesla Metamorphosis. So just to give people some sort of background or an idea, how is it different than Reiki?
Well, from our professional standpoint, which means we work with the energies, we work with frequency, we work with a certain set of frequencies and a certain codes. In Reiki, there are certain codes, and you use a specific set of frequencies by attaching those codes and working with that.
Okay.
With Tesla, it's a completely different frequency. It's a different vibration, meaning it's different light, and it's a different quality that comes
So it's
with
more
it.
expanded?
It is different.
Okay. Now, would this benefit people who are Reiki healers and Reiki masters? Like, that might be a good group to come to some of these seminars. Is that?
That could be for them to see a different perspective and maybe explore, but could be for people that don't have any experience with any of the energy work, yet find that interesting, intriguing. They can try themselves and they can actually succeed. I did it. You can do it.
So a novice like you or I can do it.
Everybody can do it. Similar as with the Reiki, I think everybody can do as long as you have a focus and good intentions. Same as with this.
Okay. Wow, that's
Fantastic.
great. That is great. Thank you.
Yeah,
That gives
Jasna.
me some more information because I
Yes.
understand what Reiki is, so it gives me some sort of a frame of reference.
Yes. Thank you.
Well, we
That was
can
great.
we can look forward to having Anya coming on the show
Yes,
on November 14th.
yes, and you know
we
what?
can ask her some more
Yeah,
questions.
more of these very nice, interesting topics from her book because there is just so much of a beautiful information there, information that can help everyone.
Yeah.
If not in anything else, then to make them aware and to maybe awaken those that are still asleep, believing that this is all it is and we are doomed.
And to tie that in, thank you again. You're reading my mind because to tie that into the conversation with Guy
Guy.
McPherson before,
Yes.
off air, you asked her, so do you think, Jasna, we are, the planet's doomed and there's any way we can change it? And you said, well, I don't know. I don't know about that, but what I do know is that if we change ourselves, we can we won't
can
be
shift,
affected
yes.
by it. And I think that's a really good response
Yes.
to what Guy's saying, because there's a lot of similarities in what you're saying. The planet's in a crisis.
Yes.
We need to do something.
Yes.
But and you're saying, regardless of whether or not it's over, we do not have to be a part of it if we shift ourselves.
Absolutely. We actually transform ourselves, we shift ourselves, and it's like a butterfly effect. And it is butterfly effect.
Yes.
It goes further and it affects everybody else. And then everybody else, if they make effort with intention to improve and change, actually enhance their frequency of their consciousness.
Yes.
That's all what the whole game is about. Once we do that, and the more humans are shifting into that gear, we actually get a more power as a mastermind that would be able then to make more important shifts even on the very physical plane and helping the planet.
And if you are shifting your frequency, if the world collapses and you're not of the frequency of
With the collapse, yes.
you can see it.
Yes.
It'll go right around you.
That's right, and you move on. And
Yeah, doesn't
everybody
affect
who
you
is
at all.
willing, ready, and who is rising their frequency will move on.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, it may happen that some will perish. That is unfortunate fact, and that's what all these gloom predictions are saying, that there may be some casualties. However, the sooner we accept the responsibility of our living here, because we all came here for the reason and with a purpose. And the sooner we recognize and realize that that's why we are here and we shift into the right direction, the sooner we will be able to keep our home, this beautiful planet, or to move it wherever it needs to be moved, and we can go with it.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. I think it's great to see that doom and gloom as a call to action.
Yes.
Really, just
And it is very nice action that actually transforms everything for
Yeah.
better. And everything that is not good just stays behind, dissipates, and being transformed into the beautiful life that we are here to enjoy.
yeah, I agree.
But just one thing, when you're building your Merkaba, don't use artificial.
No,
Fabrics.
you must use Tesla energy.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
Exactly.
It's the Tesla macabre.
Metamorphosis.
Yes.
Tesla.
I know,
waves.
but he was saying the macabre. What is that? The
Merkaba.
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 Right.
You know about that, Jasna?
Well, I am going to let Anya talk about it.
Wow.
I just did mention the life, the body metamorphosis,
Wow.
which is part of what we do. And yes, it's in history it's known as Merkaba. We don't use that word, but it is highly at this stage, on this time, I would say still metaphysical or conceptual, but we do it in practice.
Yeah.
With us, conceptual
Yeah. Experiential.
becomes experiential,
Yes,
so
yes,
we're moving
yes.
along.
Yes.
All right. Okay.
From the
well, Jasna,
Merkaba to the Metamorphosis.
Yes,
How about
exactly,
that?
exactly. So you are actually now ready and geared for much more information from Anya on the 14th.
Yay!
Okay. Well, we'll have to wait, unfortunately, till November, but we should probably go order the book. And, of course, people can do that at TeslaMetamorphosis.com. or go to Jasna's website, mylifeforce.ca.
Yes.
And we want to
Or
get...
just go on Amazon. They can just go on Amazon. The book is on the Amazon, and they can order it there.
Right.
All
Okay,
right.
cool. All right. Okay,
Wow,
thanks,
this has been
Jasna.
Well, thank
wonderful.
you.
Thank you so
And
much.
we look forward to having you back on the show sometime later. So
Yes, thank you very much. It's been my
okay.
pleasure.
All right.
Create a wonderful moment.